My dad works in B2B marketing, but I never really knew what that meant. Then one day my dad came by my school for career day and told everyone in my class he was a big ROAS man. Then he just kept saying things like, the bigger the ROAS, the better, over and over. My friends still laugh at me to this day. I think it means calculating a return on ad spend. One thing's for sure. I'll be known as the ROAS man's kid for the rest of my days. Why couldn't you just be a fireman or a lawyer? Why? You ruined my life, Dad.
Not everyone gets B2B, but LinkedIn has the people who do. And with ads on LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people based on job title, industry, likelihood to buy, and more. Start converting your B2B audience into high-quality leads today. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MPN to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/MPN. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Entrepreneurs Enigma is a podcast for the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. So the wins and the fails that we all face being entrepreneurs, how we learn from adversity. Every week I talk to a different entrepreneur with a story to tell. I'm Seth Goldstein. Come with me on the journey. This is Entrepreneurs Enigma. Let's get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneurs Enigma podcast. You know me by now. It's been more than 200 episodes, but I'm Seth, your host with the most. Today, I have a good friend of mine, Orly Zeewy. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. I love when I get names right. And Orly is a startup founder, an entrepreneur, an author, an advisor, a mentor. We met through the Founders Institute. Founder Institute. I always put an S on founders.
Me too.
It makes more sense to have a Founders Institute instead of Founder Institute. Whatever.
Yeah.
We digress. But she's based near me, and you know she's working on you're working on your second book now, right?
My second book. That's right.
So you're a glutton for punishment.
I had just so much fun on the first one. Well, the first one took 5 years. The first one took 5 years.
How many years?
5, because I'd never done it before, and because the pandemic happened.
Makes sense.
And everything shut down. But also because I spent a year on interviews. I spent a year looking for a publisher. So now I'm doing it. I started.
You went the classical route.
I did, which I will not do the second time. This time I've already vetted, I think, like 6 different hybrid publishers. And I found
what's a hybrid publisher?
So a hybrid publisher, it's not a vanity press. They actually have a press that gets put on your book, but so it's not you, right? Because I've looked at that, and then they take care of everything. Like they do the marketing, they do help you with editing and the design, all of it.
It's not all on you.
All of it. And so I actually found one which it's all women. It's women owned, women based, and so since this is a women's book.
This is gonna be entrepreneurship for women.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Make it stay in your lane with the theme.
I try to do that. It's what I tell my clients. So I have to do. I have to do what I tell my clients to do. You know, don't do as I do. Do as I say, not as I do. Right? That's what we do as parents. You know, do as I say.
Exactly. Exactly. So how does amazing, crazy, quirky journeys get started?
Oh my goodness.
I first mentioned you're also an agile professor too.
I am. Yeah. Not this.
The list goes on and on and on and on. We'll have her linked. We'll have Orly's LinkedIn, and you can check out all the things I missed.
Yeah. There's a lot.
But
it's funny.
There's a lot. But how did you get started in all this? I mean, have you always been the entrepreneur journey?
Yeah, I have. I mean, first of all, I come to it very honestly because my father. I come from a long line of entrepreneurs on my father's side, and by the way, a long line of educators on my mother's side. So what do I do for a living? Yeah. I do both, right? So I grew up, in the whole entrepreneurial bubble of my dad, who struggled often. And actually, the book was really written with my dad in mind. And the highest compliment I would say that I got was my father said to me, "I wish I'd had your book when I had my business." I know.
Oh, wow. That is a compliment.
I know. Not that he would have actually listened to anything I said, but
Yeah, of course.
But
Still, it's a
yeah,
compliment. You'll take it. You'll take it.
I'll take it. I will always take a compliment, and thank you very much. And I think he has my.
Especially from your dad.
Yeah, I know, right? So anyway, I feel like I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. And it's funny because as I'm writing the second book, I'm also going to talk about my own journey as a female entrepreneur and kind of where that came from. But anyway, in what I realize is that my passion is really with startup founders. And so I've developed the whole brand building process specifically for entrepreneurs, startup founders, and solopreneurs. And it's really all around, figuring out who you are. That's your why. Figuring out who needs it. That's your ideal client. And then the most important part is communicating it in such a way that your ideal client gets it, wants it, values it, and will pay a premium for it.
We're going to take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show. Exactly.
My dad works in B2B marketing, but I never really knew what that meant. Then one day my dad came by my school for career day and told everyone in my class he was a big ROAS man. Then he just kept saying things like, the bigger the ROAS, the better, over and over. My friends still laugh at me to this day. I think it means calculating a return on ad spend. One thing's for sure, I'll be known as the ROAS man's kid for the rest of my days. Why couldn't you just be a fireman or a lawyer? Why? You ruined my life, Dad.
Not everyone gets B2B, but LinkedIn has the people who do. And with ads on LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people based on job title, industry, likelihood to buy, and more. Start converting your B2B audience into high-quality leads today. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MPN to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/MPN. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Christy Heiler hosts a fantastic podcast called Own It. Christy, tell us more about the show.
Own It is all about celebrating women and non-binary advertising agency owners. We talk about buying out of the Boys Club of Advertising because less than 1% of ad agencies are owned by women.
And where can people subscribe?
You can find the podcast at untilyouownit.com. We're also on the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcast.net. And of course, you can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
You heard her. Go subscribe.
That's that's the goal of all of this. And so in my book, Ready Launch Brand, I interviewed 25 founders and I highlighted 8 because each one is connected to a marketing myth and interesting.
Ooh, I like that.
So I know, and I thought about that, and it's really meant to be it's a very quick read, but each chapter has a story from an entrepreneur founder. And basically everyone said the same thing. I wish I had started marketing sooner.
But they never no one listens.
No one listens, right? And it's because they figure, we'll get to it. My favorite marketing myth is we will pay for marketing when we have money to pay for marketing. It's like, yeah, well, if you don't, that's how you get money for marketing. And,
marketing and sales works in conjunction, but you can't do sales without marketing.
Exactly.
You can't do marketing without sales.
Exactly.
You got to do both.
Yeah. And marketing is, the engine to sales, right? So, so basically it's like you're trying to run a train without an engine in it, or a car. But
how's that working?
Exactly. And then the other part that I find so interesting is as soon as there's any kind of downturn, and I'm thinking, in 2008 with the whole crash and everything, the first thing people do is they stop marketing. And it's like, which doesn't make
That's
any
not
sense.
what you do.
I
know. It's like, don't stop the marketing. Don't stop the sales.
I know.
Find other ways to trim.
Exactly. Instead, you should be upping your marketing. You should be focusing on cut something else out,
But that's what I found in the pandemic. A lot of people, at least in my industry, web design, digital marketing, people didn't cut back. They realized, oh crap, I need to be online, so I'm not as hurting from this. They realized it a little bit late, but like my pandemic was incredible because it was like everyone needed it yesterday.
Right. Well, because, we were all forced to go online. So that meant that anything that you were doing online was suddenly, that's the golden goose, you got to do it. I actually found that, I've been virtual for a while anyway, but what I found during the pandemic is that it opened up the world, really. I had a client in Prague. It was
wow.
I know. I was talking to people in South Africa and Australia, and
it's so much fun now.
It's so wild. And now, almost all my business, all my clients is outside of Philadelphia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I have a client in Austin, Texas,
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. That is fun. And then, like I said, I'm talking to people in Chicago, in Oregon. I had a client in Oregon, in Toronto. I've worked with people.
Better time zones than Prague. Prague's what? CET? It's Central European time, I think.
So,
It's off. It's like,
yeah.
It's not, it's what, 5? I can't do the conversion. I just know it's later in the afternoon. I was talking to a friend recently, and I forgot, I went the wrong direction with the time zone.
It's so easy
I
to
went
do.
west of east, and she's like, that's 8:00 p.m. for me, and I have 2 little kids. I'm like, oops, wrong direction. Let's do 10 o'clock my time, which will be, whatever. It was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think
the time zones.
7 hours. Yeah. I was talking to somebody in Paris for a while, but she wasn't ready, and she kind of decided to do Paris. Yeah.
Paris. Exactly. Yeah. So you've been doing this your whole life, doing this. Where were you an adjunct at?
So I actually have lectured at Wharton. And I actually created a course at the University of Pennsylvania. I know. I taught at Temple in the Fox School, and then at Jefferson. That's cool. A lot of places.
So you've made the rounds around all the big schools in the area.
Pretty much. And I'm now in conversation with somebody, hopefully at another entrepreneurship program, but they're not ready yet. So hopefully in the fall. But yeah, so I've always kind of had my feet in both camps, the academic, and actually that is the reason why I went with a traditional publisher with my book, because I was more involved in academia then, and I felt it would give me credibility, which it did, but I would not go that route again.
Oh, so traditional versus, what's the difference between traditional and hybrid then? Because hybrid does everything for you. So it's traditional. Well, traditional also takes it out of you.
No, they don't do any marketing. None at all. And
oh wow,
yeah, no, anything. All of the publicity I've gotten from my book has really been because I've done it and I've connected with people. And
what's good at Random House? What's good with the?
They don't do any of it. Plus, they own your IP, whereas in hybrid, you own your IP. So it's really much better to. I want to.
Hey, you learn that here, folks. Go hybrid or go self-publish. One of the two.
Well, and the thing about hybrid is you do get an imprint, and so it gives it a little bit of cash.
It's not your imprint.
That's right.
It's not Zeewy brand.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that. So, like I said, I started 2 years ago. I started looking at publishers because I wanted to be ready. And then,
you have to be ready.
Yeah. So now I'm really ready to, I've got.
But now you got to write the damn thing.
What's that? Not just have
you got to write the damn thing.
Write the damn thing. Exactly. And what I'm finding, of course, is, and by the way, I'm a lot further along than I even realized. Like, I have a table of contents. I'm almost done with the first chapter. I'm working on the proposal now, and I've got somebody who's helping me do that. So
so you've done like the MVP to put it back to startup.
Yeah, that's
MVP for the book.
Right. So that's what I'm working on. I want to get it far enough so that, and then, I may even consider getting an agent. I haven't decided. The thing,
hot shot. Yeah.
I already have a book under my belt, and
exactly. I'm trying to get this book written about entrepreneurs, Enigma, and all those questions I've asked people and all that stuff. And I think there's a book here. And I have the table of contents, and I have like the first kind of idea of where I want to go with the first chapter, but I'm just struggling to sit down and do it. It's one of those things you guys sit down, do it. I bought Scrivener, and it confused the crap out of me, so I'm just doing Google Docs. I wasted $50. Sorry, Mare. Sorry, wife, about that, but I have the unlimited plan with Scrivener, but it's like the Post-it note.
Yeah. No,
I'll just use Google Docs.
Honestly, I've actually already had I've already done a few interviews. I'm looking for seasoned women entrepreneurs who've hopefully had more than one business. because the goal of this book is really to figure out, like, give younger women and college students, who are thinking about entrepreneurship, to give them an easier path. Because right now, so it's something, again, and it's very personal, very much on brand for me, but
push it forward, play it forward.
Yeah. Pay it forward. Yeah, pay it forward.
Play it forward. There we go. I was gonna get on that eventually. Yeah. So definitely. But yeah. So what's the best thing about being an entrepreneur in your mind? Like because you've done it your whole life,
right?
And you've seen your dad. You've also seen your dad do it, so you can kind of draw from that as well.
And my brother, by the way, my brother is also an entrepreneur. I know.
Oh my God, it's genetic.
Yeah, it is genetic. It's almost like we don't know any other way to be. I feel like the thing I like the most is that I can schedule my life around my business in a way that I couldn't do if I was working 9 to 5, which I have tried, by the way, and I tried to do it in corporate America, and I lasted 1 year.
Oh, I tried corporate. It did not function well.
It's not for me, because they're looking for people to plug into a position, and I am not a plug and play kind of person, right?
Especially corporate. You have a dedicated wire. It's the Orly wire. It's only a specific wire that you can only get from Orly.
And plus, one of the things I love working with startups and founders in general is, there's a problem and there's a solution, and I can help them figure out what the problem is, what the solution is, and then I help them communicate it. And
I love it.
You can't really do that in a 9 to 5 because, yes, I guess, if you get high enough on the ladder, but I just found it really wasn't for me. But the other thing I really like, aside from, of course, making your own schedule, is that every day is different, because now I'm also a pretty busy speaker. So I have probably 2 to 3.
You left that off the list too.
Yeah. 2 to 3 of those a month. I couldn't do that if I was, working full time, but it's, I think the trick is to figure out what the balance looks like for you without getting burnt out, because, and also to build a community around you so that you're not always on your own, because it can be very lonely, very lonely. So, that's part of why I joined FI, and I also I'm part of these other networks, actually 2 women networks. One is they're both global now, but, and that's because, again, then I get to be around other people, and we get to, exchange ideas. And if I have a problem, I have, a whole group of people I can reach out to. Hey, what do you think about XYZ? Could you have any connection? That kind of thing. So
I love it. So what keeps you up at night as an entrepreneur? I mean, and you said your dad struggled at times, and there's ups and downs, there's lefts and rights. I mean, that's kind of the whole idea of being an entrepreneur.
Money is usually, that was the thing he struggled with, because I don't think he really wasn't as good at the
moolah.
Yeah, how to like bill properly, and he was really an inventor who wanted to be an entrepreneur. I mean, my dad is now long retired, but he has 17 patents in his name. So
that's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah. He actually, this is kind of wild. Because I didn't grow up in the United States. We emigrated here when I was 11. So I have an international background. But when we moved to the States, and eventually, my dad started a business here, but one of the patents, he was the first person to come up with a way to measure the temperature of molten steel.
Oh, wow.
I know. So Luke and Steel.
Obscure, but very cool.
It's very cool. So Luke and Steel actually bought his invention. It was like, really revolutionary then. Of course, not, now there's so many.
They've improved upon it.
Yeah, of course.
Still, he's a base patent, though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the patent. He definitely
has. Molten steel is hot.
What's that?
Molten steel is hot. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, exactly.
The thermometer for molten steel is like, it doesn't burn or melt. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, it's called the Z meter.
I love it. Oh, it's adorable. I love it. The Z meter.
So
that's awesome. So that's, money is always
finding I think the other thing, money is part of that, but it's really finding, kind of finding your clients and then having a steady funnel of new clients and building that out so that eventually, I'm at the point now where, people will reach out to me on LinkedIn because I put a lot of content there.
You do.
And that's really what I do. I share a lot of content because I really believe that, first of all, that's what it's about, because I'm building relationships. It's not always about sell. But the other thing is that what I find is that, I have a book, so you can just buy my book. You
also have something to talk about too. You have content you can go into and say, hey, out of my book, buy it here. You're able to say, here's a snippet that I thought was apropos for this conversation.
Yeah. The book, I really built a lot of content around both what I wrote and ended up in the book and what didn't. But,
you have all the scraps that didn't make it in there, still probably gems.
Yeah, there's a lot. I have so much content, it's not about having content. It's kind of how to put it out there. But, one other thing I did want to mention is that, my book was the #1 new business book released on Amazon in April of 2021. And that's because Seth Godin endorsed it.
Oh, wow. Holy moly. That's big. Only like the purple cow himself.
Exactly. Who I got to meet during the pandemic on one of his master classes. So I had quoted him in my book. Awesome. And, I did what people do. I just sent him an email and basically, begged.
He's very accessible. I hear that he gets on podcasts even all the time.
Oh,
I haven't reached out yet, but
so generous. I would say I was so shocked, first of all, that he responded right away, that he read through the PDF that I sent him of, my, of the transcript of my book, and that he wrote me something right away. Like, I was just like, wow, this is.
And that's Seth Godin for crying out loud.
I know. So
not Seth Goldstein, Seth Godin.
Yeah.
So still Seth J.
So the key there is don't be afraid to ask. So with my second book, I'm planning to reach out to people who, women who are big deal in the world as far as entrepreneurs. So, people like Brene Brown and, I'm not saying that they will endorse me, but why not?
But you can't. It never hurts to ask.
Why not? Right. And then the other one is the woman who started that whole lean in thing. She was
Sheryl Sandberg.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Between the two of us, we have a full brain between the two of us.
Just have to put it together. Good thing we're next to each other. Exactly. We're just like, okay, we got it between the two of us. But yeah.
So what is the most important thing to carry with you all the time?
In terms of my business and just.
You can be as woo-woo or as physical as you want with that. So.
The thing that I carry with me always is always be kind.
That's okay.
Always.
And that always goes ahead of you. If they know that Orly's kind and giving and friendly, it comes back in like droves.
Oh my God, all the time. I've been a mentor to over 150 students. And they're on LinkedIn with me, right? So I will every once in a while, I hear from one of my students or they'll like one of my posts or they'll send me, hey, I'm doing XYZ, or I see that they've, advanced in their career. And so I send them a little note. And anyway, that's
good. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's beyond kindness. I think it's just not always thinking about what's in it for me, but thinking about giving back. And I think that's why, one of the reasons why I like teaching, because it's really about giving back.
It is.
And
especially if you're an adjunct, it's definitely about giving.
It's certainly not about receiving. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's be honest. Adjunct's great and it looks great in your resume and it's fun to do, but you don't do it for the dough.
No. Maybe at Wharton, I would say. I was a guest lecturer there for several years in their international program.
But you work up to that. Even then, I'm sure when you came in at Wharton, I'm sure you weren't rolling in dough. No. They're paying, professors that are PhDs and have tenure that they can't get rid of.
Well,
they're stuck with a lot of professors for a while. They're stuck with them.
Yeah.
I've never. My grandfather was a psychology professor at Temple. He was tenure tracked. My mom was a professor at Rutgers, was not tenure track, left it to go into business and went into school of psychology eventually. So I come from a long line of PhDs and educators and,
I get it.
And doctors and all that stuff. And everyone said, don't get a PhD. Just don't do it.
I know. And now, by the way, there are schools where you need a PhD to be an adjunct at the graduate.
Really?
At the graduate. No, sorry, not to be an adjunct. I'm sorry, to teach full time.
Oh, well, yeah.
You have to have a PhD. But that didn't used to be the case for every kind of program. And now it's pretty much across the board that you need a PhD. And, I have an MBA and 2 undergraduate degrees. That's enough.
You have enough. You've done enough.
I think I've done enough.
And let's the credentials this long.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I know Temple reached out to me at one point, and I just have a bachelor's. And they're like, I'm like, is that going to be a problem? And they're like, no, we like you have MBA or something like that, master's and advanced degree above the advanced degree, but like, you're such a manager expert, yada, 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 never panned out. But like, it was intriguing. I was like,
I'm sorry, who did you say reached out to you?
Temple.
Oh, Temple, yeah.
Because they're working on an entrepreneurial program. Yeah. And I'm like, that's intriguing. But I was like, I was a lot younger in the business. I was like, I wasn't sure of myself. Like now if they reach out to me, I'll be like, sure, hands down.
Right.
Let's do it. Let's do this. Yeah.
So,
so Orly, what is your social network of choice? Let me guess, LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm only on LinkedIn. I used to be very active on Twitter, but enough said about that. Yeah, I can't. I know. I stopped.
I got off of Twitter.
I can't even put the X on my website. I still have the bird. I always feel like
good.
Why mess with? And this is like such a perfect example.
He threw out all that brand equity
for that.
What the heck?
That had been working. That people knew, that they loved, they trusted, and it's like this is just such a. It's such a misguided thing to do, to throw.
He's totally misguided. I mean, he's off his rails.
Well, unfortunately, he's basically run the Twitter into the ground. And so I no longer use it. But, LinkedIn, 8 out of 10 B2B business comes from LinkedIn. So
that's great.
That's where I go. And every Fortune 500 company is on there.
Everyone's on
LinkedIn.
For better or for worse, everyone's on LinkedIn. I mean, I'm big on Alignable now. I'm loving Alignable.
I don't know Alignable. What's that like?
Alignable is like a local business version of LinkedIn.
Really?
They have speed networking. It's pretty neat.
Huh.
Overall,
is it a free? Is it a free platform also?
It's free. It's freemium. So you get a little bit. You get a taste for free, and then if you want more,
right?
Same thing with like LinkedIn. They give you enough for free.
Yeah.
But if you want more and you want more security, that you're not going to get kicked off the platform, you want access to say why was I kicked off the platform. Happened to me when I was trying to secure my account.
Yeah.
They kicked me off for 3 days. I'm like, I'm trying to actually do something good for you guys so it's actually secure. And they apologized profusely. They're like, it was our algorithm saw you doing something weird. I'm like, securing my account's weird. They're like, we know.
Yeah,
it's a computer.
Don't mess with it. If it's working,
leave it
alone.
Exactly.
That's kind of my
exactly.
But I have an all-star profile, and I whenever I post something, I usually get a few hundred looks and some comments.
Yeah,
I think the most I've gotten is 2,000.
I'm always overwhelmed by the comments. Sometimes when I post something that's thought-provoking, it's like it's like there's like 50 comments. I'm like, oh my god, I go because then you want to respond to every single comment, and it's just like, oh my god, there goes another hour.
Yeah. An hour.
I wrote this thing. I wanted like one comment on it. And I got 50. I'm like, that kind of thing. So Orly, this has been great. We'll have all your links in the show notes. People can check it out, and we will see everyone next time.
Thank you so much, Seth.
Oh, it's been so much fun. That was a great show. If you're enjoying Entrepreneurs Enigma, please review us in the podcast directory of your choice. Every review helps other podcast listeners find our show. If you're looking for other podcasts in the marketing space, look no further than the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcasts.net. Goldstein Media hopes you have enjoyed this episode.
This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.